And then you're my tanks, which is definitely Hobart. Hobart is really good with tanks. It's just the Field Marshal that we need somebody better. I mean, Paget could. No, I want someone with armoured expertise. Or commando, or invasion, or whatever it's called. Yeah, these moves have not moved since 36. Isle of Man is automatically done if you're protecting that, I think. It's in the same garrison zone. See, they're sending troops in now. Although they are shuffling absolutely everyone around. Right, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn you into a new theatre, so...
Ready to move.
This is going to be the home front. And these are the actual elite fighters. And then as I get political power, we're going to just start buying field marshals. Hey, Pugly Lumber. Morning, Mordred. Don't usually get to catch your stream. You usually lurk in the YouTube. Well, welcome to the live stuff. Hello. How are we doing for the repairs? Why are you repairing here? You should be separated out, shouldn't you? And also, where are the bad guys at the moment? None there. None there. There's a couple in the English Channel. But quite frankly, those should be attacked by these guys. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you attack more dangerous targets. Just like you are. Iberian Federations joined the Third Internationale. Well then, I'm going to need you lot to provide escorts. Oops. English Channel, Bay of Biscay. Because the army's going in. We have to. Because I want to go and help the Iberians take Portugal. And this is also going to give us some valuable experience, even if we don't have a field marshal yet. The other thing is, you need to be red.
Orders.
It's going to have to be Paget this. Because Paget can at least get offensive doctrines. And getting offensive doctrine will mean that he gets more offensive skills. It's just annoying that he's not going to get the armoured thing, because then he gets double experience from armour battles. Six defence and all of those bonuses to defence. Might as well crew the fleet back. They're never landing on England. Well, there's a reason why Fortress Britain is like the meta. Because the Union of Britain have crazy defensive bonuses. Plus you can take the artillery manufacturers, both of which defence and soft attack, defence and soft attack. So superior firepower on Britain. Yeah, nobody's landing. There's a reason Fortress Britain is so powerful. 21 convoys. Oh, nice.
Listen up.
I do still have a few destroyers out in the western approaches. We have 100% coverage with the escorts, is that true? We weren't covering that, but now it is. Good. Making sure that my armies are properly escorted. Where was this guy when I attacked the UK as the Dominion? No, I'm pretty sure he was there. Do you remember how much trouble I had? Well, I mean, Ireland was more trouble, but still. I can get that in 200 days. You know what? Let's do this. 1942 research tech now. In less than a year? Hell yeah. Sank some destroy. We're doing a lot of damage to their Navy. Submarine, submarine, convoy, submarine, and a convoy. 2 for the price of 1. I think we're about to land, and it doesn't look like Portugal's actually got any troops. So I probably didn't need to. We're already in the war.
Orders!
As soon as you arrive, you have a go.
Ready!
Just make sure you actually take the train. Choo-choo. And all the constructions are done once again. Well then, radar's been fully upgraded, right? Yep. Now we're getting some pretty good coverage of the home isles. That's all been done. Ah, we can upgrade infrastructure in a couple of places. That'll keep us busy for a while longer. How's the refits? Man, we're doing a lot. Needed to be done, though. And we now have 27 dockyards working on it. We are losing oil. So how much does the army use when they're in action? 900. Why is the navy so ludicrously expensive? Robbie Bobbinson, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Dealt with. Okay, cool. Fall of Lisbon. Reports from Lisbon confirm the Portuguese city has been captured by advancing anarcho-Spanish troops after skirmishes through the Sierra Monsanto and the rapid push towards the mouth of the Tagus River. Did Spain join the faction? They did. So I suspect that there's going to be a lot of Spaniards moving up to the German border now. Actually, not that many. Oh right, the Dutch are on our side now. No, those are just volunteers.
Yes, sir!
Right, well, we may as well send you guys home. Congratulations, you've done your job well. Let's do a fallback line. Let's do one there. And one in Portsmouth.
Yes, sir!
So half of you are in each spot. Anton just lost a lot of naval power with the fall of Portugal. Yes, they've just lost their ability to... well, no, they haven't really. Because France has still got ports here. And the Portuguese navy isn't lost. They'll just become a government in exile once you use the fleet. I thought oil could be a problem for that. Okay, so we've got the Marines. So now I would say it's probably... time to go for the Air Force. Air power is critical for success on the modern battlefield. Currently, the air service is a subordinate of our army, and while that assures democratization, an independent air force would certainly be more effective. Thus, we must establish an air force, both independent and socialist in character. Sank another dread. Germans really losing a lot of ships now. And I would say the CSA is starting to win. They've taken a lot of the East Coast, and that's like the really important area. So there does still seem to be an awful lot of enemy supremacy over here. So we're going to move the QRF over to Hull. Oh, Newcastle, sorry, that was down there. Then once they are in Newcastle, we'll start assigning you to strike force in the North Sea. You are assigned a region. You're assigned the North Sea. Sneaky. You weren't. So why is the North Sea being such a pain to see? You still have naval supremacy of 18,000 in both of these. Undersea blockade. Move on to convoy interdiction. Yes, I will spend that. Alright, so where's next? Now that Portugal's fallen. Do we want to start going off to Germany? Opening up a new front? How many aircraft carriers do we have? 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. We have 9 carriers. So these 4 fast battleships, why are you not joining these guys? Because you're supposed to be. Oh, your dreadnoughts are off repairing. Oh, I see. Okay. We haven't actually lost any of those capital ships. They're just being repaired. We now have loads of supremacy in these areas. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving towards Germany. We're going to start seeing what we can do about these two. And then the QRF can respond to threats in either of those locations as and when they are seen. And there we go. We have screened a small unit of cruisers. You can see we're moving around as that fleet moves. Now here we are likely to come up against naval bombers. We could also just not catch them because we keep on changing our minds. Really? Oh, we caught them. They ran into us. Hi! And immediately 3 of them are sunk. Like, before the battle's even begun. Oh, and there's the High Seas fleet. Interesting. This just became a battle. So they have 4 carriers, 7, 8, 9 heavies versus my 2. And many screen ships, though our fleet is just way more efficient than theirs. I mean, theirs is mostly because the new ships joining combat has screwed them up a bit. It does look like we're making withdrawal, which is probably the right move. But we should be sinking a bunch of them as we back off. Both of my heavy ships looking a little bit beaten up. They both got away. I would say that this was a German victory. Okay, so now we know that there is still a German high seas fleet. And it's still pretty potent. Oh dear, the recon fleet's just arrived. Oh, that was a bad move. Back off. Yeah, please think about going home. That would probably be a good idea. So we lost 17 destroyers. They lost a cruiser, 3 destroyers, and a couple of planes. So that was a serious defeat for us, actually. So the German high seas fleet is still very, very strong. So I'm going to say to the recons, Yeah, don't worry about that. Go somewhere else. Hey, Duke. Just jumped in to say hello because I'm about to go to bed. Well, sleep well. And that also says doing a naval invasion here is going to be difficult. So it's probably a good thing that we have not tried to do that. Now, how are we doing for mechanized? So we'll be in a position to start really producing mechanized very, very soon. Meanwhile, my destroyers and my cruisers are still being upgraded. We're doing the cruisers now. They are going to take a little while. There's a lot of them. This is definitely going to take a while. In other news, can I send any more guns to me buddies in Russia? Because I don't think America needs them anymore. I'm feeling quietly confident that the CSA has got this in hand. Soviet Russia, I'm still not 100% sure about. So we're going to send you 20,000 guns. Which will take you a little while to arrive. Off we go. Ooh, naval battle. Oh, hello, Germany. Came out for some fun after beating my first fleet, then, eh? Unfortunately, their big ships are already withdrawing. Their little ones are as well, but a lot less effectively. We have the... Actually, this is a very even fleet. We do have some more of the escort fleets coming in, which will mess up our front lines a little bit. We've lost a couple of destroyers. Oh, no, now we're sinking some of theirs. And as they're fleeing, our aircraft should be able to bomb them and strafe them and do everything else that aircraft like doing. Come on. 9. There we go. Much better. So we sank 9, they sank 5? Yeah, that's acceptable. I mean, it is just destroyers we're losing, and I'm going to guess that those are fairly old destroyers. Although that being said, I'm out of destroyer reserves. Just seeing how many we're short. I think we're short about 5. So I think what I'm going to do to resolve that is we're going to go here, and then we're going to go... Don't show this anymore. Unfortunately, I basically need to classify the Mordred as out of date, because it's an old ship. And now we have the more advanced destroyer, which is going to be called the Viking class. And this guy is going to come with sonar and radar. Actually, how long until we get the next level of radar? We're not even researching it, so a while. Still don't have any better AA. We could give you better light guns. It's only 100 production more. It's only 30 more. 32 surface detection, 14 sub-detection, 33 depth charges. Although submarines really have not been the problem, so I think I'm going to reduce the number of depth charges, just because it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper. Yeah, adds like 100 and... well, adds 150. So I think we're going to hold off on that.
Raiding party!
Whoa, good grief, hey Shenrir. One of us, one of us. Except for the fact that I'm playing as Britain and you were playing as the US. So you were one of us, and this is the day that you're celebrating that you no longer are. Anyway, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Raiders, welcome to the big naval party, and welcome to the Viking class of ship. A very, very good ship, if I do say so myself. So, what is going on at the moment? Well, let me give you a bit of an overview. We are playing as the Union of Britain. We are overcoming some really, really quite bad fuel problems. Malfunction, thank you very much for the follow. Basically, I was commentating Kaiserreich multiplayer game last weekend, and after talking to the Union of Britain, they say, yeah, we have huge fuel problems, which is why we weren't using our fleets very actively, and I got very angry with them, saying, there can't possibly be as big a problem as you say. It's as big a problem as they say, so we've been slowly but surely ramping up our fuel production simply through synthetic refineries, which has allowed us to actually start taking to the seas. We now are in control of the home seas. And we are slowly but surely starting to fight back. Germany has been losing an awful lot of ships, but is still definitely not out of the fight. We just tried to enter German waters and were completely smashed. Didn't work very well. So we've kind of withdrawn, licking our wounds, doing some repairs, and also are now in the process of upgrading our destroyers to the Viking class, as you just saw. Part of this is because I want to see how good we can get at detecting submarines, because one of the big problems in multiplayer apparently is high-level submarines just being undetectable. I wonder how much that is because they actually are undetectable or because people just don't know how the naval mechanics work. I'm suspecting a little bit of the latter. So, yeah, we're playing a very, very naval game. We have got a couple of troops, not very many, like a grand total of 21 soldiers. Mostly light tanks, a couple of marines and some infantry troops. But most of my contributions to the great socialist upheaval as a whole is just sending lots and lots of guns. So my production, ignore all of those ships, I mean it's just a couple, is we're making loads and loads of infantry equipment, and I'm just sending them through Lend-leases to other people to basically die for the cause. So Soviet Russia is still alive because of the guns I keep shipping them. CNTF won because of the guns I was shipping them. And the CSA is winning because of the guns I'm shipping them. Plus, you know, the heroism and lives that they're spending in the great struggle. But mostly because of the guns I'm shipping them. I heard a lot of people complaining about sub-3s being impossible to detect. We've actually started finding and destroying German sub-3s. So sub-3s are when submarines... So there's definitely a shift in power. So sub 1s and 2s seem fairly decent. There is like a fair amount of attrition to using them. But as soon as you hit sub 3, there seems to be a bit of a spike in terms of their visibility. But I think that also coincides with when their admirals level up. So submarine admirals are surprisingly easy to level up because you'll tend to have just a lot of ships under them. And you can start with Sea Wolves and you can get Silent Hunter. Loading Skill Master. Then you can get Superior Tactician all the way down through Concealment Expert, Smoke Screens, and you can really make your submarines very, very difficult to find. Sure. What you can also do, though, is make your ships a lot better at finding enemy ships through Spotter, Spotting Chance, through... where is it? Fleet Protector, Destroyer Leader, Hunter Killer, plus 20% submarine detection. And that's not for submarines, that's anti-submarines. That's not very clear, but it's anti-subs. And that's a lot harder to level up, although if you do have large fleets of escorts like we're currently trying to build up here, ignore the fact that those numbers are small. Those numbers are mostly small because I'm doing a massive refit. Basically getting all of these really old ships, the interwars, equipped with sonar, which they weren't previously. And I suspect that's the other problem, is the starting fleets have terrible submarine detection. I'm increasing it 11 times. It's gone from a 1 to an 11. Sub-detection, plus the admirals, plus just loads of boats. So there you go. You'll need to excuse it. There is a lot of micro going on in terms of naval deployments. I'm slowly but surely getting my head around it. I've decided that having smaller strike fleets, like these guys, they're just 30 ships big, is much better than having a doom stack of 300, because you send your 300 out, you're completely out of oil, and then you have such huge positioning penalties that you lose the battle anyway. With these smaller ones, you can be a lot more nimble, and you can just send in more of your little strike fleets if there is a big fleet. You just need to be very watchful of your naval stuff. And also a lot of this is just down to recon. So I have really good recon fleets, that's what all these guys are. They are just destroyers. They're destroyers with decent... actually, these are the old models which haven't been upgraded. They will eventually be like these ones, which have... Nope, they don't have radar either. Well, I'm starting to add radar. And float planes. So eventually it's the cruisers for us which are going to be the strongest, because we've gone base strike, because we have a lot of carriers being the Union of Britain. So if we scroll down to the cruiser, the Darkfighter, is that the Darkfighter? Yeah, it's the Darkfighter. So we've got float planes because they give us sub-detection and surface detection, radar because it gives both of those, and then sonar because it gives both of those. Still fairly old engines, so they're quite cheap ships, and also this is just an upgrade. You don't want to refit engines or armor, otherwise the refit cost goes through the roof. And now we have 16 sub-detection, 37 surface detection, plus all the Admiral modifiers. So, yeah. Cruisers with base strike are better than destroyers, just that destroyers are so much cheaper. Anyway, I should probably say Jizbur, Dexgrobar, Shenrir, Pana, Ozantuksu, Owlsjud, Brothu, and Pulbork. Thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Good to see you. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Has the Second World Creek started? Yeah, it started in 38. It was super early. And the border just has not shifted. Like, neither side can push against the other. And I've only just reached the stage where I have enough fuel to actually start doing force projection, which is why Portugal has fallen, and I'm thinking about where I want to go next. Although most of my force projection is shipping copious numbers of guns to those who are also struggling against their oppressors. The other thing I should mention with submarine detection, which other players may not know, is one of the biggest benefits you can get is radar. You'll see that I've been plastering this area with radars, mostly just because I'm upgrading them now and I had a couple of older ones. Radar does improve naval detection, as do recon fleets. Then I am also using a lot of air forces, so you can see that we have aircraft, air superiority in each of the naval zones. And if we go back to the strategic navy map mode, you can hover over it, and you can see our air superiority increases our ship amount impact by 16%. That decreases positioning, so you can actually put bigger fleets into fights if you have air superiority when you're doing it. And also intel efficiency 100% because planes do add detection. They add a lot of detection. Although it doesn't actually say that, but it does. Who controls the Netherlands? The Netherlands are actually communist or syndicalist, but have not joined the Internationale. They are, however, sending troops to the French border to go and fight against Germany, which I think is super gutsy. And part of the reason I'm sitting here in Britain with troops on the south coast is I can rush over to the Netherlands. Huzzah! Smiller, thank you very much for the resubscription. 5 months now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. Very, very good of you. Anyway, naval battle. So this is us just detecting some Australasian submarines. And sinking Australasian submarines. I'm guessing these are fairly old. Weltkrieg. Interwar, interwar. Yeah, they're all going to die. Because we also have naval bombers here. So that's the other thing I've done, is I've attached naval bombers to all of these naval zones, and naval bombers are doing a fantastic job of just finding and destroying ships. You sank a carrier? You got lucky. We do lose a couple every now and then, but naval bombers are cheap. There we go, sank a dreadnought. So my excellent detection abilities are just allowing me to locate absolutely everything that's near Britain and just be like, he's over there. Left a bit, right a bit, shoot that, bang, dead. How's the Oceanic front looking? I haven't even looked. Messy. So Fentiang's at war with Qing, and Yunnan, who's at war with everyone else by the looks of things. Indochina is fighting against Australasia, who's invading there. Insular India is at war with Dutch East Indies. Japan's apparently invaded and taken the Philippines. Bharati is currently being gobbled up by the Dominion of India and the Indian Empire, which is really unfortunate because I keep trying to add them to the... Well, I can't because it doesn't exist anymore, but I really want them to join us. And I've been shipping them guns, but I should probably stop. Meanwhile, Russia is fighting against Turkestan and the Soviets. The Soviet Civil War started like 4 years ago, and it is still raging. I did have a lot of volunteers over there, but now we're in the Second World War, so I don't. But Russia's lost 1.5 million, Soviets have lost 900,000-ish. And have held. Like, this border has barely moved.